Hi, thank you so much for joining episode 15 of my podcast. Thank you so much. This is your psychic Christine. I hope you enjoy my podcast and you listen. I normally post up a podcast once per week. So this episode is, of course, going to talk about how having a psychic reading is beneficial to you. Of course, you are able to find your past, present, future, get life advice, and get some answers to some pressing questions. Most people come in to see a psychic because they're facing problems. Of course, some, just have it to see what it's all about for entertainment reasons. But like I said, most of the people come in for life advice or because they're facing some kind of problem or they're at a crossroad in their life. So in this podcast, I want to talk about titles, okay? I've talked about, identity and ego in past episodes of my podcast. And a lot of us, want to be in a committed relationship because it helps us to have an identity. I'm this person's wife, or I am a wife or a husband, father, mother. We get very consumed with titles and we feel a lot of pressure because of time, okay? We're feeling pressured because we should have this by this time and so on, okay? It's like we're creating a clock, an internal clock for ourselves, that by this age we should have this done. By this age this should be done. We should be married, or we should be a parent, or we should be making this much money, and so forth and so on. And we drive ourselves crazy with this kind of negative self-talk when we feel we haven't reached our goals in a time frame that we've pretty much set for ourselves, or our parents have set up for us, and we use, other people as an example. But you know what? They're not us, okay? Everybody has their own set of circumstances. And trusting the universe is really an important factor because everything happens when it's supposed to happen. I mean, I've heard this said, I don't know what my bad luck has saved me from, if that makes sense. Sometimes you feel like you should have this, or you should be here, or you should be there. But how many times has it happened to you that 5 years from that disappointment, a year later, or 5 years later, however long later, you reflect back and you realize how lucky you were that didn't work out? Okay? How many times has that happened to you? And who's to say that that's not what's happening right now? Okay? So what I'd like everyone to do is not get so consumed with the time clock, because it's not helping. It's really not doing anything for you, okay? Putting yourself under that kind of pressure, it's only taking you away from your goals. We get into relationships, as an example, sometimes, and we kind of want to hit the fast forward button to just jump right into the commitment. And we don't really give the relationship, or before we actually see if this is actually good for us, because we were so interested in achieving the goal. So like I said, my advice to you is try to, and I'm sure this is not the first time you've heard somebody say this, try to live in the moment, okay? Make sure that the person that you're with is someone that you want to have a committed relationship with. Sometimes we focus so much on making the other person happy, making the one that we're interested in happy, that we don't take out the time to start thinking about, what is it that makes me happy? Is this something I really want, or am I more interested in the title? This could even happen in a work situation, okay? Is this the kind of job I really want, or am I just interested in the title? Am I really happy? It's also been said that if you love the work that you do, you won't work a day in your life. Okay? So that's also another thing. A lot of us are in jobs or in work situations that we're really not happy with. But, in many cases, there's nothing that we can do because we're dependent on, the income that it provides for us. But you shouldn't lose sight of your dream. You shouldn't lose sight of your ultimate goal. And if you're in a place right now in a work situation that you're really not happy with, that's okay, as long as it's providing you a stepping stone to at very least get you to where you want to ultimately be. So if you're in a job or a situation right now where you're not happy with, you need to ask yourself that question. Is this job at least providing a stepping stone to help me to get to where I ultimately want to be? And if the answer to that question is no, then it's time for you to change that job, because you should definitely at least be in a stepping stone situation. And like I said, don't force anything, don't pressure anything. It's really important to trust the universe, okay? And when you're one with the universe, everything just falls into place. And as an example, what I mean by being one with the universe is, like I said, if you're in a job that you're not happy with and it's not helping you to where you ultimately want to be, that is not working with the universe. If you're in a relationship that you'd like to have a commitment to, but are really not happy with the person and just interested in the title, that would not be, working with the universe. And what you're actually doing is sabotaging yourself. So in previous podcasts, I talked a lot about negative karma coming from past lives, negative energies coming from people, sometimes jealousy, outside influences. And I'll tell you this, I believe in everything. I believe in everything, and I believe that everything is possible. Okay? But in some cases, it may not be any of that. And it is possible that you could be creating your own problems without even realizing it. So self-examination is really important. And when you have a reading done, and I am able to, specifically look into your life, then I can be able to tell you if, in fact, you are creating your own troubles. And sometimes it's just a matter of opening up your eyes, some self-realization, and a few adjustments that need to be made. And then you know what? You are well on your way to a happier and more fulfilling life. That should be the objective. A happier and more fulfilling life. You need to be in a good place, and you need to be happy on your own. Before, you can start being able to share that with the world and for people to kind of reciprocate. So setting a good foundation for yourself is always a good idea. So if you'd like to have a reading done by me, please feel free to give me a call at 201-953-0658. I do phone readings as well. So if you're out of state or out of the country, I also have WhatsApp. I'm at 810 Chestnut Street here in Center City, Philadelphia. I do take walk-ins, but it's always best to have an appointment. I also want to recommend some books to you. If you click the link to my blog and scroll down to the resource page, there are a lot of wonderful eye-opener books for you to read. And I'd like any one of those books are positive and good for you. Like I said, they're eye-openers. And if you're having any kind of struggle or in love and need some advice to know, what you might be doing wrong in a relationship, or you want to find out, how you're perceived by your significant other, be sure to check out my book called How to Make It Work by Christine Wallace. It's available to download on Kindle, and it's also available on Amazon. So please feel free to check that out. I hope that my podcast helps you and you're enjoying it. And I do look forward to serving you. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.